Let me tell you something about the night everything changed. Not the kind of night you plan for, not the kind you write in your calendar or tell your mama about ahead of time. I'm talking about the kind of night that just finds you, the kind that grabs you by the collar before you even finish tying your shoes, and by the time you realize what's happening, you're already deep in it, already right in the middle of something you're gonna be talking about for years. That was the night Baby Keem pulled up to Los Angeles, and nothing in that city was ever gonna feel the same after. Welcome to Pop Showroom, where we bring you the stories behind the headlines. If you're not subscribed yet, hit that button right now, because this story goes deeper than anything you've seen in the mainstream media. Now, before I get into all of that, let me tell you who I am first, because this story doesn't make sense without you knowing where I'm standing when I'm telling it. I go by the name of Keem Wasim. Some people know me as Baby Keem. Some people on the block holler at me like I'm two-phone Baby Keem. Because yeah, I stay with two phones. Always have, always will. And if you know what that means, then you already know what kind of life we're talking about. My grandma, God bless her soul, she calls me Boomin'. Been calling me that since I was small enough to sit on her lap and still leave room for her coffee mug. And this, right here, everything you're about to read, this has been Casino. That's the story, that's the name, that's the energy. Hold on, because it's about to get real. Los Angeles on a regular night is already a different kind of beast. The streets don't sleep, the lights don't dim, and there's always something moving. Always someone out there chasing something or running from something or both at the same time. But this particular night had a different kind of electricity in the air. You know how sometimes you step outside and the whole atmosphere feels like it's holding its breath, like the city itself knows something is about to happen before any of the people in it do? That's exactly how it felt. The air was warm the way LA nights always are, carrying that mix of car exhaust and ocean breeze and something else, something you can't name but you feel it in your chest. Something was coming. Word had already been spreading through the streets the way word always spreads in LA, fast and loud and everywhere all at once. People were talking on corners, talking through their phones, talking in parking lots, talking in barbershops. Baby Keem was gonna be in the city tonight. Now, if you don't know who Baby Keem is, then I genuinely feel sorry for you, because this young man is not just a rapper. He's not just another name on a playlist. He is something different entirely. He came out of nowhere and everywhere at the same time, from the same bloodline as Kendrick Lamar, cousin to one of the greatest to ever do it. But make no mistake about something, Baby Keem is not riding on anybody's coattails. He built his own lane with his own hands and his own voice and his own sound that doesn't sound like anything else you've ever heard before. The way he puts words together, the way his cadence shifts and flips and turns corners you didn't see coming. It's the kind of rap that makes you stop whatever you're doing and just listen. So when word got out that he was going to be in LA that night, the city reacted the way LA always reacts to something real. It moved. People started pulling up from every direction, from Compton, from Inglewood, from the Valley, from Long Beach, from deep East LA where the streets run long and the nights run longer. Everybody wanted to be somewhere close to whatever was about to happen, because when you grow up in a city like this, you learn real quick that the moments you miss are the moments people talk about forever, and nobody wants to be the one who wasn't there. I remember exactly where I was when the first message hit my phone. I had both phones on me, obviously, and the second that notification came through, I already knew tonight was gonna be different. My boys were already moving, already getting the group together, already figuring out which way to pull up. There's something about moments like that in the streets, when everybody's energy starts syncing up, and you can feel it in the way people are moving, faster, lighter on their feet, laughing more than usual, like the whole crew is breathing the same excited air. That was us that night, loaded in the car, music already going, windows halfway down even though we were still on surface streets, just because the night deserved it. When we finally got to where the action was, I want you to understand something. It wasn't just a crowd, it was a congregation. It was hundreds of people who came from all different parts of the city, different backgrounds, different stories, different reasons for being there, but all sharing the same energy in that moment. That's the thing about music that nobody talks about enough. It erases all the lines. The kid from the nice part of town and the kid who grew up ducking and dodging in the hood are standing right next to each other in that crowd, and neither one of them is thinking about the difference. They're both just there, both just present, both just alive in that moment. That's powerful. That doesn't happen everywhere. That doesn't happen for everybody, but it happens for Baby Keem. And then he came out. I'm not gonna try to oversell it because the truth doesn't need any extra decoration. When Baby Keem stepped into that space, the energy shifted so fast it almost knocked you sideways. The crowd exploded in a way that wasn't even organized. It wasn't a slow build-up. It was immediate, like flipping a switch, like everybody in that place released something they've been holding in all day, all week, all year. The noise was something physical. You didn't just hear it, you felt it in your ribs, in your teeth, in the back of your throat. And he just stood there for a second, just took it in, the way only somebody who deserves that kind of reception can stand there and receive it without flinching. He started performing, and everything else went away. The traffic noise from outside the crowd, the conversations happening at the edges of the crowd, whatever was going on in your head before you walked through those doors, gone. All of it gone. Because when Baby Keem raps, it demands your full attention, the way only real music can. His flow is unpredictable in the best way possible. You think you know where he's going, and then he takes a left turn that makes perfect sense in hindsight, but you never would have seen it coming. His voice carries this controlled chaos, like a controlled burn, like he knows exactly how wild he's going, and he's choosing every single second of it deliberately. The crowd around me was losing their minds, people rapping every single word back at him, people grabbing their friends by the shoulders like they couldn't believe what they were witnessing, people with their phones up, but then forgetting about the phones because the moment was too real to watch through a screen. There was a point in the middle of the set where he paused, and the silence was almost as powerful as the noise. That kind of silence where thousands of people are holding their breath at the same time, where you can feel the collective anticipation like a pressure in the room. He looked out at the crowd, and you could tell he was seeing it, really seeing it, not performing the act of seeing it, but actually registering what was in front of him. All these people who came out on a regular Tuesday night in Los Angeles because of something he made in a studio somewhere, because of words he put together in a way that connected with something real in people. That's a lot of weight to carry, and he wore it like it was nothing, like it was natural, because for him, it is. I've been around long enough to know the difference between somebody who is talented and somebody who is chosen. Talent is something you can practice, something you can develop, something you can work towards, but being chosen is different. That's when the universe decides that this particular person, in this particular body, with this particular voice, has something to say that needs to be heard, and it arranges circumstances around them to make sure it happens. Baby Keem is chosen. You feel it when you're in the same room as him. You feel it in the way the air changes. You feel it in the way the crowd responds not just to what he's saying, but to how he's existing up there on that stage. By the time the night wound down, I was standing outside with my boys and nobody was saying much, which is rare because we always have something to say. Always. That's just who we are. But after something like that, sometimes the right response is just quiet, just letting it sit in you, just giving it the space it deserves before you start breaking it down and analyzing it and turning it into a story you tell people. We were all just standing there in the warm LA night, the city still buzzing around us, still moving, still alive the way it always is, and every single one of us had that same look, the look of people who just saw something they're gonna remember.
My name is Keem Wasim, Baby Keem, two-phone Baby Keem, Boo Man to my grandma who's been calling me that since before I knew what any of this was gonna look like. And this has been Casino, just a regular guy from the streets telling you about a night that wasn't regular at all. A night that reminded me why music exists, why cities like LA exist, why showing up matters, and why Baby Keem is exactly where he's supposed to be. Don't miss the next one. Trust me on that. You don't want to be the one explaining to people later why you stayed home. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this situation, so please share your opinions in the comments. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay updated on this story.